What's going on, guys? Thanks for stopping by and welcome for today's recipe video. Yes, it's time to bring them back. I'm super excited to bring you today's recipes. Yes, it's not just one, two recipes. The best cutting recipes, the best dessert recipes to satisfy your sweet tooth, and they're super high volume, and if you are not full after having them, you're probably born for a competitive eater. Congratulations, even I can help you. If you're following me on Instagram, and you better should, you have seen how many times I've posted about my protein jello pudding. It's my favorite recipe to add volume to my meals, and damn, it's delicious. I actually have a recipe up on my channel, but it's outdated, it's a lot more calories, and I didn't explain everything the proper way. Now I updated the recipe, it's lower calorie, it's much easier, and I'm gonna show you how you can do it. I have the second recipe as well up on my channel, but it's in a vlog video. So I decided I'm gonna add this recipe as well here. It's my egg white cake, and guys, that's like the texture, the calories, it's pure protein. That's it. Like no carbs, no fat. And it tastes just like cake. You can add frosting, you can make layers, you can do whatever you want to do. But last week I did a little experiment and I tried to mix both. Well, kind of mix them. I made the ultimate protein bowl, packing 70 grams of protein in a super high volume meal. And you can easily split it in two and have it like two snacks or two small meals during the day. Without further ado, let's get started, guys. Give a like to the video if you want to see more of those in the future. Subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss my next video. So let's get started with the recipes. For the protein jello pudding recipe, you're gonna need only 5 main ingredients. 200 milliliters of a low fat, zero fat or whatever milk you want. Natural unsweetened cocoa powder, 30 grams or 1 scoop of a great tasting protein powder. I'm using a vanilla hazelnut protein powder. You can use whatever you want, but choose one with a strong flavor. 4 packs of gelatin or 40 grams and a 0 calorie sweetener. The first step, in a microwave safe bowl, you're gonna put about 500 milliliters of water and add the 4 gelatins inside. We're gonna leave this to the side for about 3 minutes so the gelatin can soak up the water. In the meantime, we're gonna prep our protein mix. In a shaker cup, we add the protein powder and we just shake it up and make a protein shake. In a mixing bowl, we add the shake. I'm gonna add 700 more milliliters of water inside so I can clean up the shake, and this way we're gonna use all the protein. Right now inside we have about 1 liter and 300 milliliters of liquid, and now we're gonna add 200 milliliters of milk inside. The gelatin mix is ready. Now it goes in the microwave for about 2 intervals of about 2 minutes. You're gonna have to keep a watch on it because it has to be almost boiling, and this is really crucial. It has to turn to a clear liquid. As I said, it has to be super hot. If this step is not done right, the protein pudding won't work. While we wait for the gelatin mix, we're gonna add 10 grams of cocoa powder and sweetener to taste. So what I do is 1, 2.5 cups, bottle caps of sweetener, but for some it may be too much, for some it may be too little, so do it by taste. Mix this up. Don't worry, the cocoa powder will incorporate when we add the hot mixture. And here we are, the gelatin water is ready. I see it's steaming, it's almost boiling. Now we have to move really fast. We add the mixture. I like to scrape off the sides, but be careful, it could be very hot. And now with a fork, we're gonna mix for about 1.5, maybe 2 minutes. And that's it. Now to the bad part, you're gonna have to wait 5.5, 6 hours at least for this to set and be proper texture. If you take it out earlier, it may be a bit watery. This now goes in the refrigerator for about 6 hours. For the egg white protein cake, all we're gonna need is 350 grams of egg whites. I'm using pasteurized egg whites, but you can use just egg whites out of the shell, so it doesn't matter, it just has to be egg whites. Sweetener, vanilla extract, flavor drops, or any kind of extract you want to add to it, and baking powder. That's it. First step, preheat the oven to 220 degrees. Next, in a big mixing bowl, we add the egg whites. Sweetener, I add about 1 cap. 1 bottle cap sweetener is enough for me. A few drops from the extract or the flavor drops you have. And now, with a hand mixer, we're gonna beat the egg whites until soft peaks. Till it looks like something like this. exactly like that. As you see, it forms peaks, and this is exactly the consistency we want. Now, this is how much baking powder you need. That's it, just a gentle sprinkle. And now we're gonna mix one more time. The first time took me about 1.5 minutes, the second time is gonna be about exactly the same. And we want this to get thick. We need at the end to have stiff peaks. My mixer has turbo, so guys, you need to beat the eggs on the highest setting. So if you don't have turbo, you're gonna have to mix it a bit more. And the end product should look like something like this. As you see, look. It's super thick. That's exactly how we want it. Now, the last thing we have to do is on a baking sheet with parchment paper. Guys, the parchment paper is actually pretty important. Make sure you get the white one, not the brown parchment paper, because the mixture tends to stick to the brown one. I don't know why. Make sure you get a good parchment paper, baking paper. What I like to do is just scrape the sides, and now everything will come out pretty easily. It's basically whipping cream, guys. It's so thick. This is the thickness you want. Now just spread it on the sheet evenly. Make sure it's about 2 fingers thick. I don't know how big is my pan, but better use a bigger one. If someone asks, can you add like cocoa powder and stuff to this while we mix it? Yes, you can, but be careful, don't add too much, because if it's too heavy, it will flatten out. No matter how good and how precise you bake it, it will flatten out at the end and it will look like a pancake. It will taste amazing, but the volume is not gonna be there. When you're done with spreading the mixture, it goes in the oven for about 5 to 6 minutes, but keep a watch on it. I'm gonna show when you have to take it out. I like to put it on the lowest rack because it rises a lot, guys. You're gonna see. You see what's happening? It's a monster. It may be a bit early, but better earlier than later. So I'm gonna pull this out. Yeah, it's about right. I think I added too much baking powder. So look at this monstrosity, guys. Now, very important. Lift the sides and lift the cake so you can take it off easier later. I can do it with one hand, but you have to do it. Like, you see? Like that. Just lift it. Okay, I can do it with one hand, and after that we're gonna transfer it on a cooling rack and leave it for 7 minutes so it cools down, and we can slice it after that. So here they are, guys, both recipes. The egg white cake, macros for that on the screen right now. It's super low calorie, just pure protein. Same goes for this, it's pure protein, basically with just a little bit of carbs, just a little bit of fat because of the cocoa powder. And fun fact, all the people that tried this protein Jello recipe found that the best part is at the bottom. So I'm not gonna spoil it, try it and you're gonna see what I mean. So yeah, guys, you can do just individually, but you can take it even a step further. How? Slice them in the cubes. Guys, just look at this texture. It's like marshmallow. That's why I called it the first time a marshmallow egg white cake, because it could work like a marshmallow. So jiggly. It's almost like those Japanese cakes. And this, it has the texture of a Jello, but the flavor of a pudding. Guys, trust me, if you don't like Jello, it doesn't matter, you're gonna love this. And I slice the Jello into cubes. Usually I would just add cereal at this point to this, and it's... But now we're gonna take it a step further with making a protein bowl.
Just look the other way. I don't care what they say. We could do it all, take away my sadness. We could.
Guys, this whole thing, like, just look at this. I just can't wait to dig in. This whole thing, can you believe me, it has under 400 calories. Wow. 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 Mind blowing. The total calories and macros will be on the screen right now. Yes, they are insane. You can split this in 2 parts, not have it in one go, because it is kind of a bit more protein, but who needs a junk bowl? We need a protein bowl. So okay guys, hope you enjoyed this video. I love those recipes. I love the final one especially. Make sure to drop a like, comment down below which one will be the first recipe you're gonna try, or you're gonna try both at the same time, just like me. Next time you're cutting and you need a high volume recipe, jump to my channel and check this recipe and do it ASAP. Just one thing, be prepared to go to the toilet to take a piss very often, because it is kind of a lot of liquid, the protein Jello I mean. One last thing, let's make it clear. No, you can't substitute the gelatin in the protein Jello, and I don't suggest substituting the protein powder from the Jello as well. Yes, you can technically do it with just cocoa powder, a lot of cocoa powder, but I found, because I've tried it, it doesn't set right. If you have sugar-free, fat-free Jello like those in the boxes, that might work. I have not tried it. So that's what for today. See you in the next one.